Ho, 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 heaven light. Ho, 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 heaven light. Ho, 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 heaven light. Shine on me. Oh, oh, heaven light. Heaven light. Oh, heaven light. Shine on me. Ho, 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 heaven light. Ho, 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 heaven light. Ho, 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 heaven light. Shine on me. Oh, heaven light. Oh, heaven light. Oh, heaven light. Shine on me. Ho, 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 heaven light. Ho, 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 heaven light. Ho, 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 heaven light. Shine on me. Oh, heaven light. Heaven light. Oh, heaven light.
When we look at the Copernican revolution of the 1560s, we also must at the same time look at the Kabbalistic developments of that period. And Marshall Hall, a writer here, summarizes this by telling us that riding the first waves of the Copernican revolution in 1550s, 60s and 70s was a prominent Kabbalist known as Isaac Luria. And Isaac Luria understood how one of his fellow Kabbalists, Nachmanides of the 13th century, had proposed the Big Bang as a paradigm. And Isaac Luria combined this in a Copernican basis to give what is now basis of all our educational systems based on the Big Bang cosmology and almost all known sciences. Any science that you may think of, astronomy, mathematics, is based on the understanding that the Earth is nothing, that the Earth is just one of a small little planets that rotates and revolves around the sun. Isaac Luria, who lived around 1534 to 1570, is also known as the Ari or Zohar or Divine Rabbi Isaac. He was and he remains arguably today the greatest Kabbalist in world history. His doctrines are based entirely on the Zohar and sometimes borrows a little bit from the New Testament or from the Old Testament. And when it comes to a point of decision, it is the Zohar or the Kabbala or their books, the Talmud, and many other traditions that would override the Old Testament. Therefore, they are no longer following the Egyptian-based Old Testament. Otherwise, they would have been teaching a lot about the Egyptian Book of the Dead. So the theory of the Big Bang and its origins and giving the understanding in astrophysics of the origin of the universe is thus based on this 16th century Kabbalist whose ideas and themes literally are supported and is supported today by science. And therefore, in this quest to really remove the geocentric nature of the Earth, the drive has been to base everything on the Copernican principle, which is the presumption that the Earth was in motion and was not the center of the universe. That's the whole key. Once you believe that the Earth is rotating around its axis and revolving around the sun, or rotating around the sun and revolving around its axis, you can no longer see the Earth in its divine position as the master center of the universe. It becomes even more serious when you invite scholars and thinkers to validate their ability using mathematical formulas. So, additionally, if ever this position is changed, every other science that touches Earth, sciences like evolution, paleontology, geology, archaeology, cosmology, philosophy, metaphysics, mathematics, and many other disciplines would have to be removed from study and would have to be changed and substituted by the real mathematics, the real origins and the explanations of the origins of human beings and their position and their situation on earth and their purpose on earth. And this unfortunately cannot be allowed and has not been allowed. However, in their quest to continuously experiment to come up with facts so that they can sustain the heliocentric model, they are always experimenting and prove the fact that we have already said, the fact that is known, that geocentrism is the actual and real position of the structure and the shape of the earth. So despite the anomalies and contradictions that were overrun and always removed by obtuse mathematical equations, the world was only too eager to use Einstein's theories to construct a new understanding of the universe. Up to today, every theory that is advanced, cosmology, mathematics, astronomy, astrophysics, you name any subject, will always, without any deviation, obey and follow relativity and follow the laws of relativity. And also, since the special and general theories of relativity contradicts themselves and contradicts each other, and they are all contradicted by quantum mechanics, this confusion also led to more dubious and more surprising and shocking cosmological theories. And these theories could not withstand or support themselves under the weight of their own postulates. So if you begin with Newton, you find that Newtonian mechanics were drawn based on an infinite universe, because it was the only way he could have been able to sustain these laws. So when Einstein came, he believed in the same, but you find that the equation based on the tensor mathematics changed as experimental scientists continue to discover anomalies from the theoretical perspectives that were proposed and pushed forward. So when we come to the Big Bang, which is the most popular now and the only explanation of the origin of the universe, we know and we understand that it was formulated and given publicity by a Belgian priest and also a scientist, Father George Lep, in 1884, who was born 1894 and died around 1966. But we also know his connection to the Kabbala and his connection through the Jesuits to the Kabbalistic Luria and their ideas and the way they have laid the foundation to destroy and to remove geocentrism. So it came as no surprise. In 1963, two scientists, Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson, discovered that the whole universe was saturated with very low energy microwaves. And these are the waves that are also used in your microwave that you use to toast and to prepare your breakfast. So this universal bath of energy was named CMBR, Cosmic Microwave Background Radiation. So Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson received a Nobel Prize for their discovery. And they also realized that the energy content was a mere 2.75 degrees Kelvin. And that the most exciting news for the Big Bang theorists then was that the energy was similar to what and deviate a little bit from 2.75 Kelvin temperature. And this was exactly what they had proposed, these theoretical physicists. And so the cosmic microwave radiation background appeared to substantiate the Big Bang in a very big way. So the theorists had actually given an explanation concerning the Big Bang, saying that when the Big Bang exploded at the temperature of about 3000, it then cooled down to 2.75 Kelvin in a period of 10 to 20 billion years. And when it was cooling off, that is when it formed the stars, the planets, and eventually produced the necessary elements that also formed the necessary biological life on Earth. And this, of course, would not be easy to ask about why it was only the Earth that was then given the opportunity to form biological life, not the Moon or the Sun or any other planets. And the variations of the forces of gravity of the big bodies and small bodies has not yet been dealt with. But however, we just continue to look at these results that came out of the CMBR and its implication on the position and the structure and the shape and the behavior of the Earth. So everything was okay then, and in 1978, as I have indicated, Penzias and his friend Robert Wilson received their Nobel Prize. But as often happens in this case, where experimental physics or experimental science clashes on case with theoretical physics or mathematics, once the practical aspect or the research side or the experimental side starts to experiment, they discover, and so it forces the theoretical physicians like Einstein, physicists like Einstein, and perhaps these days Tyson deGrasse, to tweak their formulas to suit the experimental research and the experimental outcomes. So 10 years later, in 1980, it became so obvious that NASA had to send another cosmic background researcher to map out this cosmic energy using more modern and accurate machinery. So in 1989, NASA sent up the Cosmic Background Explorer, which was codenamed COBE, C-O-B-E, with an express purpose of either confirming or disproving the cosmic microwave radiation, whether it was homogeneous or not. So, to the utter amazement of all the results that came, the COBE showed that not only was a significant portion of the universe radiation anisotropic and inhomogeneous, but that it was also distributed in well-organized pockets or that created a specific geometry all the way around the rim of the known universe to its hub in the center. This is what COBE discovered. Of course, these results did not appear in the national news. These results are not taught in schools. These results are not spoken of anywhere. These results are actually kept secret, and they're not promoted. They are not a position that NASA would want to promote, because once if this data is accurate and is promoted, it was not only a severe blow to the Big Bang theory, it was also a blow to the Copernican principle at large, because what COBE discovered was the unique geometry of cosmic radiation, and this unique geometry always put the Earth at the center of the universe, hence showing the same truth that the Earth is the center of the universe, showing the same truth that the Hubble telescope found concerning galaxies in 1937, and also that precision experiment Michelson and Morley, which was performed in 1887, where they failed to detect the Earth moving in space. So since COBE's results were of such disturbing significance, NASA decided to do another research. So about 10 years later, in 2000, the Wilkinson microwave, with the abbreviation WMAP, was sent on a similar mission to map out as much of the universe microwave radiation as possible in order to determine whether it was isotropic, anisotropic, homogeneous or inhomogeneous. So the Wilkinson probe, which with very sensitive computer-based probes, was able to provide a more focused picture of the universe's microwave distribution. And behold, to everyone's utter surprise again, and to the consternation of many, the Wilkinson probe confirmed the COBE result. The data could not be mistaken. There is a systematic, well-organized distribution of microwaves aligned with and coming right towards the Earth from the furthest reaches of the universe. Now, further study showed that more of these became much more clearer, and the polarity was much more clear. And also they found that there were two dipoles opposite each other as in a magnet, and even quadruples or four dipoles of regions opposite of each other, but all of them located around the Earth's equinox equator. This is very interesting. This is what should drive us. So if you are an atheist, if your belief and your religious belief in a God or in the Creator is well, here is the motivation that we need. Here is what science has tried to disprove and has proved beyond any reasonable doubt that there is a Creator who has created everything and centered it around the Earth. So I'm reading from one of this book, one book by Dr. Robert Sungenis, Geocentrism 101. I'm reading on page 181, which says that when the location of the dipole image was calculated, scientists found that it was aligned with the Earth's equinoxes or equator. Hence, the radiation data showed that the whole universe was divided into two, with a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere. In other words, if a line were drawn connecting the center points of the dipole, and the line was extended to the rest of the known universe, it would cross the Earth's equator. You see, this data is very, very, very interesting. It puts the Earth right at the center of the universe. It puts us human beings as holy and as wonderful and magnificently unique entities to ever walk on the Earth. So, if the Earth is at the center of the universe, it means that the Copernican principle is useless. To evade this and to run away from this is simply a disbelief that one has in his brain, to just disbelieve what they have seen. So the Copernican principle is in jeopardy. It does not hold on any of the researches that have been done. There is a breakdown indeed of the Copernican principle because it is not true, it is not the truth. Now, while most of the science community was rather quiet about these startling discoveries, the University of Michigan did more detailed analysis. The Earth is at the center of it. Means that the Copernican principle is useless. To evade this and to run away from this is simply a disbelief that one has in his brain, to just disbelieve what they have seen. So the Copernican principle is in jeopardy. It does not hold on any of the researches that have been done. There is a breakdown indeed of the Copernican principle because it is not true, it is not the truth. Now, while most of the science community was rather quiet about these startling discoveries, the University of Michigan did more detailed analysis of the WAMP data. So in 2007, one of the members of the University of Michigan team, Dragan Utere, published an article in Astronomy magazine with the title, "Why is the solar system cosmically aligned?" In other words, why is the Earth the center of the universe? Or how is the Earth the center of the universe? So his title alone shows that the alignment of the universe with our earthly environment is an accepted fact, not a question. It's not a theory. It's not a theorem. It is the reality. Earth is the center of the universe. Our tiny, small Earth, which they want to estimate to be only 1 quintillionth of the size of the universe, is, according to the latest and the best scientific evidence so far up to today, the hub upon which the world rotates and is aligned to. This is a truly remarkable finding of modern cosmology. And perhaps the most important of all discoveries to date since the war began, geocentrism and heliocentrism. So it is up to you today to look at science, to consider science, and to think seriously about what you believe. If you believe in heliocentrism, you have to realize that the Big Bang has fallen under the weight of geocentrism. So the geocentric universe is accumulating more and more evidence. The Big Bang theory is suffering from a severe lack of the same. There is no evidence because the homogeneous nature of was the desired state for the longevity and stability of the Big Bang universe. The original Big Bang equations actually produced a slightly heterogeneous universe, opposite of what they wanted. So additionally, since Einstein's special theory of relativity, it limited the speed of light and gravity to 186,000 miles per second. This meant that one side of the Big Bang equation could not communicate with the other side, and therefore it would be impossible to produce the needed homogeneous universe. Because an equation and these tensor equations, they must balance all both sides. Otherwise, this universe would collapse on itself or would explode, and it would be an unstable universe. So it is not like that. So modern cosmologists sidestepped this problem by claiming that the Big Bang began by a gigantic inflation which allowed it to become 10 to the power 35 times as large in only 10 minus 35 seconds. So in nanoseconds, it just became boom and huge, a huge universe. But the horizon and the structures of all these things that are coming up now from research probes that are sent into space, we are discovering that it is. So there are many anomalies that are credibly of both the Big Bang theory and the Newtonian and Einsteinian physics that we are not that were supposedly ironed out by various equations, but rather Newton or Einstein theories or even these laws of physics do not apply in deep space. Modern cosmologists will go back and they come now with what they call dark matter. And you remember ether, which they removed. And so they say this dark matter, which they invented, became the seeds of galaxies. And they now claim that the galaxies are surrounded by a halo called dark matter. But they are just naming ether with various names. They called it, Einstein called it space. And in one paper, he actually addressed and agreed that for his general relativity theory to stand, he needed ether. He said, no, ether is motionless, to disprove the experiments by Michelson and more. So I've gone through far ahead to the conclusion so that we can now go back and we will look more and take more time on Einstein and continue our attack and continue our revelation concerning the fallacies and the satanic nature of the Copernican principle. It is not the truth. It is actually a trick that has been used. So when we look at the galaxies and quasars, and when we look at gamma ray bursts, and all we see that all of them are simply straightforward, based on a geocentric Earth and revolve around the Earth. Thank you very much. Goodbye.